I look like a hot mess. That's how I feel inside. Hello, everybody. Perez Hilton here, the queen of all media, ancient human being, close to 50 years old. Just yesterday, I was a youngster, but I am so grateful for your time. Truly, sincerely, thank you for joining me. I am here. Come rain or come shine. Whether the earth is burning down or not, I will be here committed to you all and this that we've got going on every weekday, Monday through Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And hey, Nicole, today, because it is November the 6th, 2024, the day after Election Day, I want to do things a little bit different. I normally 9.5 out of 10 times, all of my daily live streams are member only chats. But today, if it's okay with my members, I think today I want to leave the chat open for everybody. Is that cool, you guys? Can I have the chat be open today for everyone? Archer says cool. Suzanne says cool. All right. We're making an exception today. But if you can, please become a member and support. I would love that. Okay. Let's do this. Do any of you guys also listen to my podcast? If you do, then you will know that I predicted Donald Trump was going to get elected. I knew it. I felt it. I knew it. I could feel it. And I have so many thoughts. But the main one that I have is going off of Kamala Harris's concession speech. She spoke earlier today, just a little bit ago, and she said, we have to keep fighting. And I love Kamala Harris, but no, I give up. I surrender. I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't want to keep fighting. Even using that terminology, I don't want it. I don't want to keep fighting. Like, I hate politics. I hate politics. I hate politics. Because both sides are motivated by ulterior factors. You know, it's not, for the most part, helping people. It's money, power, greed, BS. Like, I could get down with being a Republican if the Republican Party continued to move even more to the middle. It's fascinating. Over the last many years, the Republican Party has both moved more to the right and more to the middle as well. Does that make any sense? I don't think it makes sense. What I'm getting at is I am down with a lot of Republican principles. Like, I'm down with limited government. I'm down with less wars. I'm down with fixing the immigration crisis. But I can't be down with all of the social issues that come with the Republican Party of today, like being anti-LGBT, being anti-women. You know, that's why I wish we had a third or fourth party. I wish we had a third or fourth party. But I find what's happened is so fascinating to me, because many Donald Trump voters don't care about his track record in the White House. They don't care what he did or didn't do during those 4 years in office. They just care what he is promising, what he's promising. They just care what he is saying he's going to do going forward. And it's fascinating to me that Donald Trump quite successfully over the last 10 years, even though his words don't align with his actions, he has convinced the majority of Americans, because Donald Trump in this election won not just the Electoral College by a landslide, including every swing state, he also won the popular vote. He won the popular vote. And he convinced Americans that that he is for the working class. And it doesn't matter if his actions contradict his words, because he brilliantly stayed on message. And eventually, if you tell people the same thing enough over and over and over again, they're going to believe it. How is Donald Trump for the working class? The working class is going to be affected severely when Donald Trump gets into office. If he does all of the things that he says he's going to do. For example, Donald Trump told us he is going to heavily tax imports. Who buys a lot of imported goods? The working class. So all of a sudden, all of these imported goods that the working class buys is going to be much more expensive. You know what that's going to cause? That's going to cause inflation to go up again. And also, I have a lot of empathy towards everybody. It's very telling to me the kids what am I trying to say? The schism? That's the word. Schism? Oh my God, that's a good word. Oh my God, my SAT word. Schism. Am I pronouncing it right? Chism? Schism? No. Is that the word? Chism? Chasm? Here we go. Chasm. That's what I was thinking of. Fudge. Chasm. A deep fissure. That's one definition. The other one is a profound difference between people, viewpoints, feelings, etc. The chasm between rich and poor. That's a good word. Anyways, it's very telling to me that Donald Trump got enormous support from people who their highest level of education was just high school. And those that received more than a high school education overwhelmingly voted for Kamala Harris. That's a great point, Heather. Don't take my word for it. Google it. Do your own research. But the president is not responsible for inflation. It's not the president's fault. But people want somebody to blame, and they blame the president. And by association, Kamala Harris, because she's the vice president. But it's fascinating to me. If there's one thing that Donald Trump truly is masterful at, it is just saying a lie enough times that people believe it. Donald Trump convinced so many people that Kamala Harris is not smart. And listen, I am a centrist, And also somebody who's like fed up with all the BS. I wouldn't even say that. I actually like JD Vance. I think, check this out, y'all. I think JD Vance is an exceptionally intelligent person. And I would have been far less worried about a JD Vance presidency than I would a Donald Trump presidency for many reasons. One, JD Vance used to be pretty liberal, and he's, changed his liberal ways for political power. But I would feel confident that JD Vance is going to behave presidentially. Do you know what I mean? JD Vance is going to have decorum. JD Vance is not going to be saying, Liz Cheney should be put in front of a firing squad. JD Vance is not going to say journalists should be shot at and all of those things. I don't even think Donald Trump was a liberal, shut in Charlie. I think Donald Trump was a Donald Trumpist. And if you look at the way he donated over the last 30 years or so, I do believe he donated to both Republicans and liberals. He donated to whomever could help his business interests. I don't know if he ever registered as a Democrat, but I could be wrong. I know he donated to both political parties, I believe. I could be wrong about that too, all right? I really wish we as Americans could just go back to the, I don't want to say go make America great again, but I remember the times when things weren't so vitriolic between sides. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Donald Trump has really changed everything. Like, why can't we be like, you remember how John McCain and Joe Biden used to be friends, even though one was a Republican and one was a Democrat? Like, why can't we respectfully disagree with people? Like, it saddens me that I don't believe Donald Trump will try to make things better for all Americans. I don't. And Kamala Harris is very intelligent and capable. But I get it, a lot of people didn't like that she was the vice president. A lot of people didn't like that, she wasn't nominated by the people. I'm still freaking salty at Joe Biden. If in 2020, the Democrats would have picked a different candidate, it could have been very different. I didn't like Kamala's concession speech, Adam. I don't want to fight anymore. I don't like that language of fighting. I don't want to fight with Republicans. Honestly, I don't even care. I've really become apathetic, to be honest. I hate politics. Hey, Ryan. Too many people view politics just as a form of entertainment. Politics is not showbiz. Politics is a necessary function of society. To be blessed we are that we have a democratic society where we can elect our representatives. I it's not showbiz, Claire. It saddens me. Like somebody like Pete Buttigieg. I freaking love Pete Buttigieg. You would think, you would think that, be honest here. If there are any Republicans or conservatives watching, when I say Pete Buttigieg, what are some of the first things that come to mind? You know, because even if you disagree with Pete Buttigieg on politics, there's so much. Hey, crazy stage mom. Thank you for joining. Pete Buttigieg is a dad, Archer. He is a veteran. He is really smart, whip smart. He's a father, like, oh, we already said that. He's a dad. He's a veteran. He's religious. He goes to church services. He's like practically perfect on paper. But it sucks that if Pete Buttigieg were to run, the machine, not even the machine, but conservatives would drag him through the mud. They would demonize him. I hate the like I don't think JD Vance is the devil. I said earlier I would have been much happier with a JD Vance presidency than a Donald Trump one. I never liked Joe Biden. I supported Pete Buttigieg in 2020, and then he dropped out. And my second choice was Elizabeth Warren, and she didn't get the nomination. But it's definitely, oh, I don't even know if a wake up call. Like, I don't know what the future of America is going to look like because more and more people are identifying as Republicans now. Let me see if I can find that. Identify as Republican. Yeah, more voters are calling themselves Republicans than Democrats. That should have been the first indication that Republican Party was, that the Democratic Party was screwed. Let me read to you this. Republicans, okay. 41% of Americans identify as Republican versus 40% identifying as Democrats versus just a few years ago. This is wild. Oh my God. In 2012, 46% of Americans identified as Democrats and 37% identified as Republicans. This is a reaction to not a signing off on. This is a huge orange middle finger to demand change. I understand wanting change. I just don't think Trump is the person. Like I said, I would have been fine with a President JD Vance. I would have been fine with a Nikki Haley. But the fact that people chose Donald Trump, an agent of chaos, you want change, but at what cost? People have selective memory and like early also, like I don't like, I painfully am aware, remember all of the 4 years of Donald Trump's presidency. And it'll be worse now because he will be even more powerful. He knows now how to execute all of his plans. Oh, thank you, VIP Auction Group. Appreciate you. Very kind. I didn't like Biden. I'm not trying to, I'm not here to defend Biden. I didn't like Biden. I only voted for Biden in 2020 because he wasn't Donald Trump. Like, you don't like Biden either? I freaking get that. I get that. I didn't like Biden. But I liked Kamala. It sucks because I feel like if Kamala were not Biden's VP, she would have had a much better chance. But I do also feel, sadly, that America still is not ready for a female president, still in 2024. So many women were saying a man needs to be president. Not even earlier this week, in the Las Vegas Review Journal, Miriam Adelson, this billionaire, wrote an editorial. She owns the newspaper, and she said that a man needs to be president. What kind of backwards BS thinking is that? A man needs to be president? No. I don't like that Tulsi Gabbard. I really like Nikki Haley. I like Nikki Haley a lot. Like, I need to hear Nikki Haley's positions on social issues, but I like that Nikki Haley is giving me like Liz Cheney vibes. You know, like Nikki Haley is not, even this past week, Nikki Haley was not afraid to criticize Donald Trump. That takes spine. That takes courage. You know, I want people who put Americans before any party. What's wrong with being a Christian? I didn't say anything was wrong with being a Christian. Nikki is a war hawk? Well, that's not a very Republican thing, is it? Liz Cheney is the industrial. I don't really know too much about either of them, to be honest. I would much prefer Pete Buttigieg. That's my person still for the future. Someone did in the chat. Oh, okay. That wasn't me. But yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Like I said, if the Republican Party was more socially liberal, they would slay. Like, they would win nonstop. Like, you know, there are already people in the Republican Party who want to pass laws. I think there are these measures that ban gay people from adopting. Do you all think gay people shouldn't be able to adopt? Like, come on. It sucks. But I predicted that Trump will win, so I'm not sad. I knew it, and it is true. Google it. Gay adoption ban. Yeah, Mississippi. Oh, God. Mississippi. And others will follow. Wah, wah. Anyways, um, I just wish we could all. I gotta say, I'm really happy that actually, everybody, I think, has been pretty respectful in the comments section. I love America. I was born here. I am not moving. All right, well, good. Keep practicing restraint. Everybody should do that. Or like, like one of the things I've seen is like, oh, people voted because they were against woke culture. Can somebody define sincerely, what does being woke mean to you? What is woke? So if you're against woke, what is woke? I want to hear from Republicans or conservatives that can explain to me what they view woke as. What is woke? Anybody? You think of woke as being a feminist? No, I'm asking you to explain it to me. I can Google it. I want to hear it from you, how you view it. Woke is not, but what is woke, Mr. Anderson? What is it? Can you define it for me? Woke is telling me there's more than two genders. That's a verb. That's an action. What is woke? It means they believe in equality. That's a good point. Like, I don't like the word woke, but I think one of the principles of not wokeism, but I think people are confusing certain things, right? Like, to me, when I think of woke, I think of being considerate of other people's feelings and mindful. Okay? I may not personally, here's the perfect example. Okay? As a gay man, I think they, them is ridiculous. All right? I think they, them is elitist, intellectual BS. I can agree with a lot of conservatives on that. But if somebody else wants me to call them they, then I can be respectful and respect them by saying that, even though I don't agree with that personally. That to me is being woke. It's being mindful and considerate and kind. But no, but you don't have to agree with all of these things, Yes, I agree with that, Jody. But we should not demonize these other people. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. Just like there's a lot of Republicans who are not even just anti-abortion, like they don't believe in IVF and fertility. I don't care about the sports thing. I think that's up to the actual sports. That's like such a red herring, as they say. My thoughts are let the individual athletes decide for themselves. I'm scared too, Christy, because Donald Trump is a recluse. Like, they could have had any other candidate, but they went back and chose him. What am I really scared about? I'm scared of the unpredictability of Donald Trump. I'm scared that every week will be chaos like it was during the 4 years of his presidency. Every week and the media will be eating it up. The media will be, feeding us Trump nonstop because he's good for ratings. He's good for clicks and page views. He says unpresidential things. And like I said at the beginning, his followers love it. They view him as an entertainer. But I don't want that. I want stability. I want peace. I really want peace. I want a president that will advocate for peace amongst us, peace amongst Americans. Like, I don't demonize Trump voters. I did in 2016. But now that I'm older and have more understanding, I get it. I understand all the reasons. I may not agree with them, but I get it. I understand it. I just wish there would have been somebody out, like, there were so many more qualified people. But whatever, it is what it is. It's democracy in action. The Republican Party chose their candidate. The people spoke, and this is what it is. Who? Like, literally anybody else. What about, Ron DeSantis? I don't even like Ron DeSantis, but he would have been better than Donald Trump. What happened with Ron DeSantis? Like that, Ron DeSantis, I don't like the man, but at least I feel like Ron DeSantis, like, that's what I want. I just want somebody to behave presidentially. I want that. I want calm. I want peace. I want stability. Anyways, whatever. That's a lot. I'm kind of... All right, y'all. Please become a member of my channel if you can. I'll be back tomorrow. Member-only chat in effect then. Although I really love just having the comments open to everybody today. You know what? I'm having a good time. Let's just keep talking for a few more minutes. I might be boring now because I just want to look at the comments and interact. Oh God, and the whole RFK thing really worries me. Hey, Tammy. I know, in Tall Pines, I know. Thank you, VIP Auction Group. Do I think Trump will stop the wars? No. No. I don't think Trump will stop the wars. And actually, here's a question for all Republicans. You know what Mitch McConnell just said today? We need to spend a lot more on our military. How are we going to pay for that? to all of a sudden majorly increase military spending. How will we pay for that? He might stop the Ukraine war, but then he would let Vladimir Putin win. You know? Trump's not going to hurt anyone. Words hurt. Trump is a verbal bully. You have to at least acknowledge that. That's not the kind of person that our children should be looking up to. Even in his rallies, he was cursing. Don't take your kids to a freaking Trump rally. I want a president who will behave presidentially. Intelligence is very attractive. I agree. I would never run for president. Why? I don't need my ego to be stroked like that. I would run for not president. I would run for like mayor of Las Vegas just because like I don't know. I feel like think small. I'm not even that's ridiculous. I wouldn't even run for mayor of Las Vegas because that's very presumptuous of me. Like I know better. I don't know better than anybody, you know? I would love to consult. Like it sucks that nowhere do I recall Donald Trump talking about making education a priority. Actually, the opposite. Donald Trump says he wants to get rid of the Department of Education. Literally, get rid of the Department of Education. How does that make sense? We can't leave everything up to the states. There need to be national standards to make sure that kids in Wisconsin are getting as good an education as children in California or wherever. How do parents think about that? Getting rid of the Department of Education? Thank you, Kimberly. I don't know who Brian Shapiro is. Oh man. Well, in Las Vegas, we do have school choice, which I am a fan of that. There are a lot of charter schools in Las Vegas. I think that should be more common. Absolutely. Thanks, Red Sus. Thank you, Amanda. What's the weather like in Vegas? It's pretty cold. I mean, like comparatively. It was in the high 50s today, I think. I know, Christy, and it was freaking exhausting. But it was good for my business. Selfishly, Trump is good for me. Trump is great for me. Views are going to be up. I would not homeschool my kids. I had to do that during COVID. And that's another thing people forget. The Biden administration had 2 years of a pandemic. 2 years of a pandemic. And I think, you know, but I get it, you know? The xenophobia is real. Because I'm not the. Oh, thank you, Spook, Mrs. Spooky. Oops. Like, I believe that immigration needs to be improved. This is even controversial. I have said in the past, I have said this. Oh my God, I'm about to get myself canceled again, but I don't care. I say what I really believe. I don't believe in birthright citizenship. I don't. I don't believe that you should be granted automatic US citizenship just if you happen to be born here. I think it should only be if one of your parents is a US citizen. I don't like that term, Mrs. Spooky. I don't like that term. But I am in favor. Oh, thank you, Archer. Oops. That looks like I got such the ugliest screen grab. Oh my God. What was I going to say? I am in favor of immigration, just doing it controlled, where we know everything, vetted in a process and all of that. But, I made a video earlier today. Not even so many, most of my family in Miami, immigrants themselves, Cubans, they came here legally decades ago. They're against any immigration, even the legal kind. And I think probably a lot of Donald Trump's supporters, even if they may not say it publicly, they're against legal immigration. They think we've got enough people in our country. More immigrants, even if legally, they're just going to take jobs away from us. This country was built on the back of immigrants. Well, Donald Trump has promised mass deportations on day one. We'll see. That's a great point, Colors. The wealthy, those who want to immigrate, that have a lot of money, they'll find ways to make it happen, obviously. That's very true, Anya. That's very true. It'll be fascinating to see what happens over the next 4 years. Like, if Donald Trump does not deliver on anything and makes things worse, why don't you want sexual orientation in school? There's a difference between sexuality and sexual orientation. There's nothing wrong with talking about, oh, I'm a gay kid. That's not talking about sex. I knew I was gay from a very young age. You know, high school students that are heterosexual are very open with their sexual orientation. Why should it not be okay for gay kids? But it's not in the eyes of many. Oh well, whatever. I know that. I don't really like Ron DeSantis, but at least I would have felt okay, Ron DeSantis is gonna give us some stability. I think we need stability, but a lot of people don't care about stability. They feel that desperate or whatever it is. I don't know. Nicole, oh, thank you. Ah, fudge. Thank you, Eliska. But yeah, I don't mind. Like I said, JD Vance, very smart man. Ron DeSantis, at least it would have felt presidential. Um, I still can't stand Donald Trump, and I'm not afraid to say that. Like just the last 2 weeks of his campaign, so dark, so negative, so violent. Violent rhetoric over and over again against his enemies, against Americans. Like, oh God. I miss the days of Obama and hope. But yeah, it's really scary because Donald Trump, I think, has done a good job of getting young people on board. Donald Trump said in his acceptance speech or his inaugural address in 2017 that he was going to unite. He didn't freaking do that. Did he unite people while president? No. Did he try to unite people in his campaign? No. Anyways, I'm tired. My flabby arms. All right, you guys. Liam Payne's body is on its way home to the UK. Finally, after 3 weeks. And I'll be back tomorrow, okay? Appreciate you all. Bye. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you.